a voice that changed everything. The diner buzzed with the clatter of plates and the hum of morning chatter, but at table 9, everything stopped. Lila, the quiet waitress who never spoke, stood trembling, her hands signing words no one expected. "I have an idea," her gestures declared, bold and clear, as the tech mogul leaned forward, eyes wide. "Hey, hit that like button and subscribe if this story grabs you, and drop your city name in the comments. Where are you watching from?" Lila's hands moved with purpose, sketching an app design on a napkin that could revolutionize how people connect. She'd served coffee in silence for years, her deafness a wall no one bothered to climb. But today, at table 9, her silence broke, not with words, but with a vision that left a millionaire speechless. The diner's regulars gaped as the mogul, known for cutting deals worth billions, scribbled a number, $1 million. Lila's heart raced. Could this be real? Her life, defined by struggle, was about to change. But how did a waitress, ignored by the world, end up here? And what shadows from her past might challenge this moment? Let's dive into Lila's story, where one bold move proves justice finds those who deserve it. The diner was a slice of Americana, red vinyl booths, neon signs, and the smell of frying bacon. Lila moved like a shadow, balancing trays, refilling coffees, her face calm but her eyes sharp. She was 26, deaf since birth, her world a silent symphony of gestures and glances. Customers barely noticed her, save for a nod or a rushed, "Thanks." Her apron pockets held a notepad for orders, but also sketches, ideas for apps she dreamed up in stolen moments. Hey, if you're feeling this, smash that subscribe button and tell us your city in the comments. Lila's silence wasn't weakness, it was focus. She taught herself coding at night, using free library Wi-Fi, her fingers dancing over a secondhand laptop. The diner's manager, Carl, called her reliable but invisible. "Good worker, no drama," he'd say, unaware of the brilliance behind her quiet. Table 9, tucked in the corner, was her domain, where she watched people, learning their habits. Today, a stranger in a sleek suit sat there, scrolling a tablet. Lila sensed something different. His name was Ethan Caldwell, a tech mogul hunting the next big idea. Could she dare to show him hers? The silent routine * Lila's mornings began at 5 a.m., her tiny apartment, a few blocks from Rosie's diner. She'd pull on her worn sneakers, tie her chestnut hair into a tight bun, and check her hearing aids, more habit than help, since they barely picked up sound. The diner was her lifeline, paying for rent and her mother's medical bills. Her mom, Grace, had raised Lila alone, teaching her sign language with fierce love before cancer took her strength. Lila's days were a grind. Serve, smile, repeat. Customers like Mr. Jenkins, a daily regular, tossed tips without a glance. "She's sweet, but quiet," they'd say, missing the fire in her sketches. At night, Lila coded, her laptop screen glowing with app designs that could make communication easier for the deaf. She'd once applied to tech boot camps, but rejections piled up. Not the right fit, they'd say, code for her disability. Yet Lila persisted, her dreams tucked into napkins stuffed in her apron. Table 9 was her quiet refuge, where she'd sketch between orders. Yesterday, she'd drawn an app interface for instant sign-to-text translation. Today, Ethan Caldwell sat there, his presence a spark in her routine. Drummond entered table 9. Encounter ****. Ethan Caldwell wasn't a regular. His tailored suit and sharp gaze screamed money, power. He tapped his tablet, sipping black coffee, oblivious to the diner's chaos. Lila approached, her notepad ready, but his quick nod dismissed her. She poured his refill, noticing his tablet screen, a pitch deck for a tech conference. Her heart skipped. She recognized the app he was reviewing. She'd seen its flaws in a coding forum. Lila hesitated, then scribbled on her notepad, "Your app's UI lags. I can fix it." She slid it beside his plate, her hands trembling. Ethan raised an eyebrow, reading the note. "You're a coder?" he signed, surprising her. Lila nodded, her fingers signing back. "Self-taught. I have ideas." Ethan's eyes narrowed, intrigued. He gestured to the seat across from him. "Show me," he signed. Lila's pulse raced. She pulled a napkin from her apron, sketching a sleek interface that could streamline his app. Ethan watched, his skepticism fading. "This is good," he said aloud, forgetting she couldn't hear. He signed again. "Who are you?" Lila's hand steadied. "Lila Harper, waitress, dreamer." Ethan leaned back, a smile forming. Table 9 was no longer just a corner. Lila's hidden depths, revealed asterisk. Asterisk. Lila's life hadn't always been silence and service. Flashbacks painted her past. A child signing with her mother in a cramped apartment, learning to navigate a world that rarely listened. Grace, a seamstress, worked late to afford Lila's hearing aids, whispering dreams of a better life. "You're brilliant," she'd sign, her hands steady despite exhaustion. Lila found coding at 15, sneaking into library computer labs, teaching herself Python from free tutorials. Her first app, a simple sign language dictionary, won a school contest, but teachers dismissed it as cute. Rejections followed. Tech firms saw her deafness as a liability, not her talent. At 20, Grace's cancer diagnosis forced Lila to drop out of community college to work at Rosie's. Her sketches became her escape, each napkin a blueprint for apps that could bridge the gap for the deaf. Now, at table 9, Ethan flipped through her napkin sketches, his eyes widening. "These are innovative," he signed. Lila shared her dream, an app translating sign language to text in real time. Ethan's company needed fresh ideas. Lila's was a goldmine. But could she trust this stranger? Her past taught her hope was risky, yet table 9 felt like fate. The moment she speaks, the diner's noise faded as Lila stood at table 9, her hands a blur of signs. Ethan watched, captivated, as she pitched her app, a platform using AI to translate sign language instantly, making communication seamless for the deaf. Her fingers wove a story of inclusion, her eyes fierce with purpose. "It's not just an app," she signed. "It's a voice for millions." She pulled out her phone, showing a prototype she'd coded over sleepless nights. The diner's regulars stared. Lila, the silent waitress, was commanding the room. Ethan scribbled questions on a napkin, testing her. "Scalability," he wrote. Lila signed back, detailing cloud integration. "Cost?" She outlined a freemium model. Carl, the manager, hovered nearby, stunned. "She never talks," he muttered. Lila's hands were her voice, each gesture a defiance of years of being ignored. Ethan leaned forward, signing, "This could change everything." He slid a contract draft across the table, $1 million deal to develop her app with his company. Lila's breath caught. Was this real? The diner felt electric, every eye on her. She signed one word, yes. Table 9 had become her stage, her silence now a roar. Dochter sealing the deal asterisk. Ethan's pen scratched across the contract, finalizing the $1 million deal. Lila's hands shook as she signed her name, her napkin sketches now a blueprint for a tech empire. The diner erupted. Waitresses clapped. Regulars cheered. Mr. Jenkins dropped his fork. "Lila did that," he gasped. Ethan stood, shaking her hand, his smile wide. "You're hired," he signed. Carl, still processing, muttered, "She's just a waitress." Lila overheard, her eyes flashing. She signed to him, "I was always more." The news spread fast. Phones buzzed with texts about the silent waitress who stunned a tech mogul, but not everyone was thrilled. A coworker, Tammy, whispered, "She's deaf. How's she gonna handle meetings?" Lila caught the comment, her resolve hardening. Ethan handed her his card. "We start Monday." As he left, Lila stood at table 9, her apron still on, her future rewritten. The $1 million deal was hers, but doubts lingered. Could she, a diner waitress with no degree, navigate a corporate world? Her mother's words echoed, "You're brilliant." Lila clutched the contract, ready to prove it. The diner's neon lights glowed brighter that night, mirroring her newfound hope. Knocked ripples of change, asterisks, Lila's life transformed overnight. She traded her apron for a blazer, working at Ethan's tech firm in a sleek office. Her app, SignSpeak, gained traction, with beta testers raving about its accuracy. At Rosie's, her story became legend. Waitresses shared it with pride, and Carl hung her napkin sketches on the wall. "Our Lila," he'd say, finally seeing her. The diner's vibe shifted. Coworkers like Maria started learning basic science to honor Lila. But skepticism lingered. Tammy spread rumors. "She's a fluke, not a tech star." Lila faced similar doubts at the firm. Executives questioned her lack of formal education. She countered with results, her app boosting the company's stock 15%. Ethan mentored her, signing during meetings to keep her included. Lila's success inspired others. A deaf busboy at Rosie's applied to a coding bootcamp, citing her story. Yet, Lila felt the weight of her past, rejections, her mother's sacrifices. She visited Grace's hospital bed, signing, "We did it, Mom." Grace's weak smile fueled Lila's drive. But whispers of a rival firm poaching her idea surfaced, threatening her dream. Lila knew her fight wasn't over. Table 9 was just the beginning. New beginning, asterisk, asterisk. Lila stood at a tech conference, her app now a global sensation. On stage, she signed her story, a waitress who dared to dream, turning silence into strength. The crowd roared, many signing applause back. Ethan introduced her as the future of tech, and Science Speak's valuation hit $10 million. Back at Rosie's, Lila funded a scholarship for deaf coders, naming it after Grace, who'd passed peacefully, knowing her daughter's triumph. The diner became a hub for dreamers. Table 9, a pilgrimage spot for locals sharing stories of hope. But challenges persisted. The rival firm launched a knockoff app, claiming Lila's idea wasn't original. She fought back in court, her hands signing fiercely in depositions. "This is mine," she declared, and justice prevailed. The court ruled in her favor. Lila's platform grew, hiring deaf developers, proving talent trumped bias. At Rosie's, she hosted a community event, serving coffee to old regulars who now saw her as a hero. "You changed us," Mr. Jenkins signed clumsily. Lila smiled, her mother's words her anchor. "You're brilliant." As she looked at Table 9, now a symbol of possibility, Lila knew her silence had sparked a revolution, but the world still had battles for her to fight.